Pension versus lump. Sum. How to make the right choice. You've worked for decades, you've contributed to your pension, and now comes the biggest decision of your retirement. Do you take a monthly pension check for life, or do you take the entire sum right now? This choice is so important that it will shape your financial security for the next 30 years. Today we're walking through the framework that helps you make the right decision. Let's start with what you're actually choosing between. A pension, also called a monthly annuity, guarantees you a fixed income every month for the rest of your life. No matter how long you live, that check keeps coming. The lump sum is the opposite. It's the entire value of your pension paid to you all at once, usually in your bank account within weeks. You control how you invest it, spend it, and give it to your heirs if something goes wrong. On the surface, this seems simple. If you need guaranteed income, take the pension. If you want flexibility and control, take the lump sum. But retirement doesn't work that way. The real answer depends on 7 critical factors, and we're going to analyze all of them. First, the break-even age. When does a lump sum become a worse deal than monthly payments? Here's how it works. Imagine you're offered a $300,000 lump sum or $2,500 per month. In the first year, obviously the lump sum is bigger. You get $300,000 versus $18,000 in monthly checks. But as years pass, those monthly payments accumulate. If you live to 78, you've collected roughly $300,000 total. At that point, you've broken even. But if you live to 85, which is very realistic, those monthly checks now total $570,000. Suddenly the pension is worth far more than the lump sum was. How do we calculate your break-even age? It depends on 2 things: the size of the payment and current interest rates. Interest rates matter because they're embedded in how your employer calculates the lump sum. When interest rates are high, lump sums are smaller. When rates are low, they're larger. In 2026, rates are hovering between 4.8 and 5.7%. Small changes here can swing lump sum values by thousands of dollars. Here's the critical insight. If your family history suggests you'll live well into your 80s, the pension almost always wins mathematically. If your health suggests you might not, the lump sum might be the right choice, but this isn't just about math, it's about risk. Second factor, survivor benefits. A pension with survivor protection means your spouse gets a reduced benefit when you pass. For federal employees, that reduction can be substantial, up to 50% lower payments. Many people reject survivor benefits to get higher payments, then assume they can simply invest the lump sum for their spouse's protection. But this requires discipline and investment skill that not everyone has. Third, your health. If you have a serious health condition, one that could limit your life expectancy, this completely changes the equation. Your break-even age moves up. You might now break even at 82 instead of 78. Or, if your health is genuinely concerning, the lump sum becomes the clear winner. This is the one factor where consulting a doctor matters as much as consulting a financial advisor. Fourth, COLA, cost of living adjustment. Here's a dirty secret. Many private pensions have zero COLA. Your payment is frozen the day you retire. A $2,000 monthly pension stays $2,000 forever. Inflation erodes that. In 30 years, that payment loses 40% of its purchasing power. Public pensions are better. Federal employees got a 2% COLA increase in 2026, and some plans offer higher guarantees. If your pension includes COLA, it's worth more. If it doesn't, the pension is less attractive because you're betting that the lump sum you invest can outpace inflation. Fifth, taxes. This might be the biggest surprise. When you take a lump sum, you face immediate taxation. Your employer withholds 20% right away. That pushes you into a higher tax bracket that year. You might owe an additional 10 to 20% in federal taxes. With monthly pension payments, you spread that income across years, staying in lower brackets. The math here is genuinely complicated, and it's why many financial advisors recommend rolling a lump sum into an IRA directly, avoiding that 20% withholding entirely and deferring the tax bill. Sixth, security and protection. Your pension is backed by the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, the PBGC. If your employer fails and can't pay your benefits, the PBGC guarantees you'll receive most of what you're owed, up to about $7,431 per month in 2025. A lump sum, once you take it, has no such protection. If you invest poorly or make mistakes, that's entirely on you. This is why risk tolerance matters enormously. Finally, the 7th factor, flexibility and control. A lump sum gives you choices. You can leave it to heirs, use it for major medical expenses, or invest it aggressively if you're confident. A pension gives you none of that. Once you start collecting, you get the check. You can't access principal, you can't change your strategy, and you can't leave a large inheritance. If flexibility matters to you emotionally, and it does for many people, that has real value. So how do you bring all this together? Start with a break-even analysis using your actual numbers. Run the calculation. See what age you need to reach for the pension to be worth more than the lump sum. Next, honestly assess your health. Not wishful thinking, actual medical assessment. Are you healthier than your family history suggests? Or less healthy? This single factor can shift your decision. Then look at COLA. If your pension includes COLA, add 10 to 20% to its value in your analysis. If it doesn't, you need your lump sum to generate returns that beat inflation, which is harder than it sounds. Check the tax calculation, use a tax software, or talk to a CPA. Understand your actual tax bill for both scenarios. Many people discover that the lump sum creates such a large tax hit that it eliminates the advantage they thought they had. Consider survivor needs. If your spouse is much younger and will likely outlive you, survivor benefits might be worth the reduced payment. If your spouse has independent income or is similar in age, you might skip survivors and take the higher pension payment. Finally, ask yourself, do I genuinely want to manage money? Lump sums require ongoing investment decisions. If you're the type of person who panics during market downturns and makes bad decisions, the guaranteed pension might be emotionally worth more than its mathematical value. Here's what we're seeing in 2026. Interest rates are expected to decline, which will make future lump sums more valuable. Companies are actively offering buyouts, pushing employees toward lump sums to reduce their own obligations. And only 15% of private workers even have a pension option anymore. If you do, you're in a privileged position. The right choice isn't always the biggest number. It's the choice that lets you sleep at night while providing the income you need. For many people with good health, that's the pension. For people with health concerns or strong heirs, that's the lump sum. And increasingly, there's a third option. Hybrid plans that let you take part of your benefit as a pension and part as a lump sum. That hybrid approach can give you the best of both worlds. Take your time with this decision. Run the numbers multiple times. Talk to people who've made the choice and regretted it, and people who made it and never looked back. This isn't a decision to rush, but it's also not as complicated as it feels. You've earned this pension. Make sure it works for the retirement you actually want.
Hey, before you go, if you're serious about your retirement, we'd love to help. Scan the QR code on screen right now or visit the link in the description to book a completely free strategy session with a qualified professional. It only takes a couple minutes to fill out, and there's absolutely no obligation. Take the first step today. We'll see you in the next one.